workforce resilience through health tech. And I would like to welcome Mr. Sunil Srivastav, Chief Business Officer of Visit Health, to join us on stage, जिनसे हम समझने वाले हैं कि मॉडर्न ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस में हेल्थ टेक की भूमिका क्या है, जिस पर एक बहुत अच्छे कॉन्वर्सेशन को हमने देखा. नाउ वी आर मूविंग ऑन टू आवर नेक्स्ट कॉन्वर्सेशन. कृष्णा, ओवर टू यू. A big round of applause for Krishna and for Mr. Sunil.
Sunil, before I go any further, let me first introduce the man on the stage. As you rightly heard, he is the Chief Business Officer of Visit. Also, more importantly, he's been with the company since almost since its inception. So he's an extended founding team member. And he's got a nice roster, to talk about. Before we go any further, just to give you a context, he's been somebody who's been with some of the biggest brands. He's been an executive director with Xerox. He's been a director of HR with Whirlpool. He's been with Cadbury's. I can go on. It's been quite a journey, over 2 decades of corporate HR experience. It's incredible. Huge round of applause for Mr. Sunil. Over here. I'm going to begin by asking. First of all, talk to us about your journey with Visit Health. How has it evolved from where you began to now?
Okay, thank you, Krishna. My journey, one thing that I can say is that I've grayed more hair in the last 10 years, right, since I joined the company. I've been there since inception, as you said, and I've spent more than 2 decades in corporate HR. I've been on the other side of the fence, right? And hired, health wellness partners and insurers and so on. But I remember that that time, of course, primary care and OPD and all were non-existent. I'm talking about many, many years back. Anyways, so health tech was emerging. I would still say it was emerging 10 years back. And there were hardly any players. And then I came across, and I actually individually wanted to be associated in health tech space. It was, and fortunately, I had an opportunity to meet Vaibhav, Anurag, Chetan, and Shashwat from Visit. They had already built a platform. They just graduated from BITS Pilani. And they were looking for someone who could, because it's B2B platform, looking for someone who could place the platform in corporates. So I came from HR. This comes under HR domain. So I had an ability to penetrate the corporate space. So I came on board and joined the team. I remember that we were still just 10 people organization. And we were sitting in the office of MapMy India, which had seed funded us. And we just had a row of chairs with us. And if I look at, I take a leap and look at today, I'm sitting in this August gathering, right? Partnering with TV India, right? And so we've reached that stage, right? And from 10 people, we have become almost 900 folks today. And so we really grown very fast and very quick. I still remember that how did we acquire few first clients. And I really thank some friends in corporates who really reposed faith in us, in our platform, in our company. And we were fortunate to start with some big brands right from the beginning, right from, I would say, day one, right? And for example, Times Group, Times of India, I remember. And
of course,
Avery Dennison, Kohler, Tata Metallics, SDFC, AMC, Anish is sitting here, right? And quite a few corporates. And we had won these accounts in few months, including AkzoNobel and so on. So we were fortunate also. But what I feel is that I think they saw some confidence in us as a team. And they possibly thought what we were doing could be of value to them as well. Because nobody does charity as such, right? So, but they did see the value. And we started the growth engine for our company from there. And of course, we were growing leaps and bounds. And the real growth, of course, came around COVID time and so on. And a very critical part of our business is building the network of service providers, diagnostic centers, hospitals, clinics, doctors. Right, I still remember we celebrated when we had the first 1,000 cashless, doctors on our network, our own network. Right, because now today we are more than 75,000.
Wow.
Right, so it's been a journey, and what we are doing today. Right, so certainly from 500 clinic hospitals to more than 22,000 today. Right, and we cover 9,000 pin codes, and we are top of the heap today, I would say. I mean, it's not, I'm not saying this out of arrogance, but it's a fact, right? And we are top of the heap, and people, I mean, I'm saying stakeholders in the ecosystem are keen to work with us. And of course, it's in our interest as well, right?
Okay.
And we have done integrations with all these stakeholders. We have built our own AI tool and so on. So we've built in a lot of efficiencies. And we were possibly the first company in the health tech space who had launched the first very disruptive cashless OPD program. Right. So I think it's been a very eventful and meaningful journey for for the organization.
Okay.
So that's how it's been. I think it's been an interesting journey.
Okay, so you're talking about OPD. I wanted to ask you, why is suddenly OPD and primary care become the centerpiece of health and wellness for an organization? How is it exactly a smart investment for every company?
I think let me say this, Krishna. I would say hospitalization is an event.
Like this one?
Yeah, and primary care and OPD is a journey.
Okay.
Right, and if you really look at it, 70% of the healthcare happens in this journey.
In OPD?
In OPD. I mean, this space, I would say, the healthcare. Because hospitalization is something which doesn't happen so often, right? So, I mean, I was just gathering some data. I mean, in India, the annual OPD spend is in excess of rupees 4 lakh crores, right? And out of a total healthcare spend of more than 10 lakh crores or so, right? And it's been, so I think OPD is gaining a lot of traction.
Right.
And what is happening is that, if you really look at it, OPD touches the lives 7 to 10 times more than the event that happens, that is the hospitalization, right? And still today, even today, many organizations are still investing more in ensuring the event, hospitalization, right? But yes, of course, there's been an awakening, and more organizations are now investing in OPD and primary care as well, right? And if you really look at youth, if you really look at it, the chronic diseases, the age has dropped to 45, less than 40 years of age. 20% of the population in the age group of 40-45, they suffer from chronic diseases, right? 1 out of every 5 heart attacks.
20%, that's a scary number.
Yeah, absolutely. And 1 out of 5 heart attacks happen in this age group, less than 45-40. This is a scary time. So it's now the time that one has to invest in OPD space, right? So that it doesn't become an escalated situation, right? So,
Right.
I mean, delayed OPD care is very expensive from mental health perspective as well as financial perspective. I mean, you will be surprised to know a preventive care spend in 10 years would be about 3.5 lakh rupees. And for curative or escalated care would be more than 25 lakh rupees in the same period, right? And it's mentally and financially draining for the individual, right? So it's being recognized now. So it's gaining traction. Our corporates are losing millions and billions of dollars because of delayed OPD care. Today, corporates lose $15 to $20 billion every year because of this, right? And this fact is again getting recognition. Disengaged workforce can lead to 20% of payroll cost. So I think it is high time. I mean, OPD is not looked at as a perk now any longer. I would say it's looked at more as a productivity tool, right? And it's because if you really look at it now, the impact is being assessed from data perspective also. It is said that it can lead to 20% lesser attrition or 15% lesser absenteeism, right? And it can lead to even a reduction in hospitalization insurance cost. Right? Because today, absenteeism and presentism, I'll tell you, it means unwell people working, at workplaces.
So they technically checkbox the fact that they are at work, but there is no productivity.
Yeah, absolutely, right? So I think all these facts, if you really look at these facts, so hospitalization is a safety net.
Yeah.
And OPD is, I would say, a retention asset, right? Or an happiness quotient asset, right? So that's how it's being looked at now today.
Okay, tell us, what kind of unique value does Visit Health offer to employees, to, some of the biggest companies that you've worked with? They're all there with you because you offer something unique. Can you tell us about it better?
Well, I think we add a lot of value to overall health and wellness ecosystem, right? And see, we are not just health benefits provider. I would say that we provide a complete ecosystem on a single platform for primary care, right? Which is based on depth, which is based on data and daily engagement. And I would say that, see, what is happening is we have a very robust network of service providers or OPD network integrated on a platform, right? Whether it's clinics, neighborhood clinics, hospitals, diagnostic centers, or doctors, right? I was just saying a while ago, we celebrated first 1,000 cashless. We are possibly the largest cashless OPD network owner in the country today.
Wow.
Right? And and along with it, I mean, the diagnostics, as I mentioned, what we are doing today is more than 2 million teleconsultations in a year. Right?
Ladies and gentlemen, huge round of applause for that. It's 2 million plus consultations.
And we are doing approximately 3 million health checks in a year. Right? And we are doing about 500,000 OPD consultations in a year. Right? So all this data, if you really look at it, and we also are able to provide a lot of value through longitudinal data, right? Which is around the risk cohorts, disease risk cohorts, or lifestyle trends,
right,
or medication patterns, right? And or even on mental or physical health quotient and so on, right? So what we also try to do is, from preventive care perspective, we are able to assess the risk, say for example at diabetes 2 years hence, rather than 2 days before when the person collapses, right? So all this kind of, and this is all through our own predictive model, through AI and data analytics that we do, right? All of it leads to it. And we have a very robust platform, which is a complete well integrated platform for complete primary care. We have it's under one single umbrella, right? And there is something or the other available for every profile in the organization, because everybody is not falling sick. It's a beautiful blend of preventive and curative care, right? And so what do I do if I'm not sick, right? Whether it's about nutrition management or it's about whatever it could be, or physical wellness or mental wellness, everything is integrated on a single platform. I'll give an example how some basic, because we don't have much time,
okay,
some basic things around how technology or AI that we have built, the tools, how it's helping the corporate users. So we have also developed our own AI therapist, right? For conversation with AI-backed therapist, not talking to a human, and get a complete guidance and have a conversation, right? And get a complete guidance. We'll of course move to voice-based also. It's right, not text-based. And smart health reports, for example. So when I get my health check done, it's AI backed and I get a complete summary instantly on my red lines, greens, and complete of what are the vulnerabilities that I may have. So there's a complete summary immediately available, which I can carry to my doctor as well.
Right.
Right. And there's an in-house tool that we have developed. I call it Maori. That's what we call it. This is for claim adjudication. Through this tool, we have been able to improve our turnaround time by almost 93%, right? Because the tool is able to read the prescription, right? Whether it belongs to the employee or to the family member, which manually was done by the doctors, right? And similarly, a tool is able to read for adjudication a claim, the claim which is submitted for reimbursement and so on, whether it is as per the policy or not. Inclusion, exclusion are there in the policy. Tool is able to read that. Further validation, adjudication. So, all these things are happening. And so that's what I can go on, but we don't have.
Incredible things are happening. That is literally reshaping the way health and wellness exists in India. As we speak, we have companies like Visit Health reshaping health and wellness and health tech. As well, with more and more innovations in technology. The moment you said AI therapist, I just really hope that people stop using ChatGPT for it, because there's a clear directive against it. But there's really genuine AI solutions, for health and wellness. I'm afraid you're right. We're completely out of time.
Because our AI tool absorbs very comprehensive data that we have, the knowledge base that we have.
Fair enough.
Because we have enough data with us now.
Exactly what I'm saying. More and more innovations like
because
that.
we have 10 million lives on the platform, right? We
Absolutely.
have millions of active users,
Yeah.
right? So we are able to actually generate a lot of valid data.
Absolutely. Wishing you the very best and more such innovations that can drive other innovations in other companies as well. Ladies and gentlemen, huge round of applause for Mr. Sunil Srivastava. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing some of those insights of what technology really can do. Before we let go of you, we need to have a photo op, and then we will let go of you.